No, they got a stand for it.
Looks
It
different,
was sitting here. It's the same owl,
though. Oh, yeah, I see now.
but now it's just has a stand.
Okay, we're calling the meeting to order, everybody. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of, February 13th.
Do we have corrections in there or not? Is there for spelling? I think the name is spelled wrong.
Well, this is the time to make,
John reviews them.
What?
no, this is the time to make
Yes,
corrections.
you have-
If there's an issue.
Do we have to do that?
If you want
If you
to.
found something.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, I thought, I saw it, someone had it highlighted in red when I saw it, looked at it in my email.
My name was misspelled.
Is it there now?
I don't know, is it
No.
misspelled?
It had an extra M in it.
Yes.
right?
It is misspelled.
Can you fix it and put it on that piece of paper and I'll fix it?
What is it? How do you spell it?
One too many M's, isn't it?
It's
Let's-
Ley, it should just be Ly.
Oh,
I'll write the whole thing.
Funny ends.
Thank you, Jim,
that's correct.
being so observant.
Usually they throw a B in there.
Is that a motion, Jim?
It's a motion, we,
Is anybody gonna
I
second?
I second that.
Okay. We're,
Chris
we're,
did that one.
we're spelling,
Chris did it.
No, you're safe on this one, sir.
all in favor of the motion to change the spelling of Kimberly.
And accept the minutes.
corrected.
set minutes as corrected.
Anybody opposed is passed. Thank you very much, everybody. All right. We didn't have a meeting, in March, but we do have one today. So, the first item on the agenda is to review the commercial operators. And John has very diligently handed out a full packet for each boat that's subscribing to our dock regulations and agreements. So I guess I would really suggest we take a few minutes and look it over. If, Jim,
What, I can't remember, what is the flat fee you have to pay to have this?
660.
$660 this year, $660.
And then per passenger?
28 cents, I think.
But it was 25.
I think he went to 28.
Okay.
Okay. 650 seems a little cheap, but.
Well, it is
It was
cheap,
500
but
for
when you compare it to what the lobstermen pay, I think it's a pretty good bargain. So get me going on that one.
Didn't you retire?
Are any of these new or are these all existing?
These are all just. The
How long has
newest
it
one
been
in the
since the rate
packet
went up
would
for
be
the commercial?
the Cadillac.
We upped it 10% when we upped everything else.
Yeah,
10 years or more. So
Right.
that- He's the newest.
I'm we did, it was like 500 and what they said.
So the only thing I've noticed in this listing is that a lot of these boats are not regular users of the facility, but they could be. So that's the only, and until somebody backs out, we can't accept any new application. Have you ever had anybody ask for
Every year.
every year?
So when you say back out, is there anything that says like if they don't run their tours that they're automatically excluded next year in the same way that?
There isn't anything that says that, but
So I was wondering how the lobster tour, how often does that go out?
Mike Olson,
Yeah.
he didn't run last year and I don't know if he ran the year before. But he did before, but
You know, it's kind of like the mooring thing, you know, like if you abandon your mooring, you don't get to keep it forever.
I did notice in Mike's, information packet that he preferred to run out of Seal Harbor, which it entitled him to do, so.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have so much, track of it.
Right.
But I don't think he did actually have the boat in the water.
But he should be paying us for his passengers,
he did.
did he? Yeah.
He's smart enough to come in and say, I have how many passengers, and he pays his 660 fee.
Yeah,
and,
no, I understand that.
yep.
Right, but if we're excluding someone else who could be doing business. It seems to me like if he's not running his business, then why are we continuing
He may
to?
run
You guys read through his packet that he offered us?
Yeah, I haven't read through it. I'm just talking about anyone in general.
No, I
not-
got you,
not
but
him.
if we're gonna start, let's start with one and all you guys read it and then
Okay, yeah, I don't really.
I haven't
Later on.
read all of these yet myself, so I'm just, you
Yeah, well,
know, I don't know exactly what Mike's thing said, but
This is all fresh to us today,
yeah.
so
So
I recommend we take a few minutes and read the packet.
wouldn't even be a big deal if you guys all took these packets and read them over the next month and we discuss them next month. Because
Kind of
Donna doesn't have a packet, which I have in my hand. So,
It's kind of hard to make a
yeah,
comment with,
it's a lot to go
Right.
through. So
I'd appreciate the time.
if you guys wanted to take a month
That's fine.
to
John, I-
all look them over and I can get Donna a packet if she wants to stop by the
I'd like a
office.
motion in that effect.
Can I ask a question first? So John, I noticed on the Cadillacs, there's two boats down.
He has one boat, but if that one is broken down and he calls me and says the Cadillac's broke and I'm gonna run Macmar, instead he insures the both of them. But yes, I caught
They
him a
both
couple
run at the
years
same
ago.
time.
I caught him a couple years ago running them both and put a stop to it, but last year the Cadillac was broke down for weeks and he's asked me if he could run the Mac.
I think they both run at the same time.
They do, but they're not supposed to come in.
I don't think they come.
John,
in here.
I didn't see
They
anything
both-
about,
Cause I know, cause that.
I have a boat,
Someone
but,
and the other one.
Dan
That's
Lund.
I didn't
This-
include it.
Why?
It's a completely separate thing that only runs in the wintertime. So
Wow,
it's an agreement we have between us and the town of Cranberry that allows them to run that special boat that runs the early morning and the late trip, and that's all it does.
it serves a pretty important purpose, I think.
I didn't include it because it's not a summertime boat that's included in the group that we mandate can't be bigger than.
do they meet the same requirements that,
They pay the $660, they pay the passenger fees, just like you do,
do they have
and
the,
they have insurance.
okay, but, which I would suggest that it be included.
Yeah, I can, that we request that from the town of Cranberry Island. They put that out to bid every year. So it's always been the same boat, but if somebody outbid them, if you wanted to run and you outbid them, you could take over that. So,
Well,
And it ends the 1st of May.
Go
or
ahead,
something
Chris.
like that.
it does, yep, it goes from, basically Columbus Day or October 15th
Yeah,
to May 1st.
Yeah.
And it doesn't run during the summertime. The boat just goes and it runs the Bar Harbor to Winter Harbor trip.
yeah.
well, I think it should be included, and I'll tell you why, because we're already concerned about the Cranberry Island automobile traffic down here. And this is definitely part of the consideration.
Yeah, but they're gone, but by the time high season, they're not running.
But we also allowed them to do the double trip, like to take people out and bring them in.
I don't know, I was down there the other morning, it was the high season and the parking lot was full.
Yeah, I mean, it takes quite a few workers in the morning at 5:30 or
So,
6:30.
I think they should be included in it,
I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Chris.
When they came to us and requested that, and as a committee, we voted on it to be separate, but it's an agreement with them, so it'd be Cranberry Isles filling out the agreement form.
Right,
Yeah, I'll send the same letter to Cranberry Island. I'll send it tomorrow and when I get it, I'll forward the thing to you guys, but I just didn't think it was part of this package, so.
well, it's okay, John, but I do think it needs to be included, so we can have an accurate measurement of our traffic down here.
So you'll get us the packet from those folks too eventually. like, within the next month, you can email
Yeah, I
it to
mean, it
us.
will only be just one.
Right, yeah.
It won't, there's not much to it because it can vary from one year to the next, which boat is running it.
Okay,
But yes, I'll send him the same packet and get, the town manager to put something together for us.
thanks.
But I assume it's the same, if you're a
They fill out the
pain in the
same
butt down
exact
there,
form
we
and
can tell
they,
you to stop.
Plus they rent a slip in the winter,
they do, yeah.
So just a quick, before we make a motion to table, to vote till the next meeting. A quick total is our passenger, we can't exceed 13 boats or the 1175 passengers. So just as these people without any additional pickup and drop offs, just what they've scheduled in their license agreement, that's at 992, not including Cranberry Island.
So there's still room for them. Their numbers.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
just that's our numbers, just a
Sure.
rough idea of how the congestion circle gets a feel, because it's only 7 boats, we can have a max of 13 and not over. Not more than 13 and not more than 1175 passengers.
Seven boats.
What's that? There's seven, is there seven?
Brunner has 3.
Yeah, sorry, yeah,
Bunker has 2, there's
for
5.
scheduled trips.
Oh, the scheduled trips.
Just, and then those other boats are like, but that's what I'm saying, we're not including the pickups, the drop offs, that's just what they have in their packet schedule.
The sequence
But
come
yes,
down since I think they did this number. But I think they're only 58 now and they were.
65.
Yeah, they lost passengers, just like Rick did with the weight stability test.
Rick did a little bit.
You didn't? Oh, no. You weren't maxed out anyways, right?
Not even close.
No. But, a lot of the folks, Carl Bruner's, Elizabeth T lost passengers and, a lot of them lost a few.
Everybody's getting a little heavier. Really, why it was.
And I think they're still way underestimating that.
Yeah.
So that's
When I look
saying
at my Carolina skin.
your 40-foot boat can handle 20 passengers. Is that what
The
that,
Coast Guard designates that.
yeah,
They do
based on the
barrels-
draft and the
Barrels of water.
displacement and all that?
It's a stability test and leaning. And when the freeboard reaches the point of 10 inches, that's the shut-off point.
Interesting.
Fill 55 gallon barrels of water.
55 gallon
On
barrel.
one side until it,
I used cement bags one year.
yeah,
That was hard.
Sure, a little risky, wasn't it?
Well,
a
no,
lot of work.
actually, I did drop one over
Passenger or cement?
cement.
So, just on a side note. This fellow that drives the Cadillac, he asked for some special conditions from you, like changing up boats and stuff.
Any of
And
these
just in
boats,
general.
if Rick's boat broke down
Yeah,
and Rick said, hey, I've got a 40-foot boat that's licensed to run passengers. Mine's broke down for 2 weeks. Can I swap it out? The answer is yes.
right,
As
right.
long as the insurance and everything is okay.
No, I get it, But
Not
maybe-
increasing passenger capacity.
maybe you could ask him to remind him not to park illegally so much when you're making
You know,
those
it's,
connections.
Or to slow down in the harbor, that would be a good one.
It's an ongoing problem, and that's part of this review.
Yeah,
You guys
well,
wanna think about every one of these boats that you've got gripes and griefs with, you wanna write it down and we'll talk about it at the next meeting.
But I think-
Because you guys are initially reviewing these boats, and if enough of you said, I don't think that boat should operate anymore, that's the start of the process that you guys would vote on, and we would go to the selectmen to see if we could.
I think one problem with the Cadillac, yes, is the amount of weight that's in it pushes a lot of water. He's, it's all on one side and then.
And anybody, if you guys ever see anything or any of these operators, just send John an email and he'll put it into a file, like if there's a fight, you know what I mean, he has
Or if
to.
you guys see something serious enough, you can contact the Belfast detachment where all these guys are basically licensed, and that's the law enforcement for the Coast Guard for this area, for this type of boat. And if you see issues, you call them, they're gonna call me looking for video if I have it, and I have supplied
Yeah.
multiple times, and they've written some pretty hefty fines, I think.
Well, the other people that ought to be watched are these, lobstermen who are on the other side of the harbor and come full bore across the harbor. Standing up, and I just go, oh, geez.
You mean in their skiffs?
Yes. And throwing a wake and.
Yeah.
Yeah. See it every day.
Well, I'll certainly let you know when I see the Cadillac buzzing through. That's a chronic thing that I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And, you know, if you can say to them something like, I didn't realize you had that authority. But if you could say something like, if you don't slow down, we're gonna we're gonna ask the
Yeah, I
town.
mean, if you read our ordinance, there's a.
Well, I'll back up John, cause I've known Beal and Bunker to get reprimanded on.
Yeah.
Beal and Bunker, back in, I got them to like stage 2 and I haven't ever seen it again. But we started the process on Beal and Bunker
Yeah.
because they were leaving the boating gear with it tied to the dock. And as passengers getting on off the boat, I mean.
One other thing that
captain
bugs me, it was not the passenger boat, it was the lobster boats that tie up there with the radar running while they're unloading. They don't realize that those rays are coming right into people's face.
Mm.
And, that drives me nuts when I see that.
Even when it's not even,
If it's,
it's just in rest.
No, when it's transmitting.
Yeah.
well, if
They said that
the dome is spinning, I think it's transmitting.
Yeah, I always heard that was not good to stand next to.
Within 6 feet.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we're activating a lot of questions and everything, so let's have a full report next month.
Do you need a motion or just we're gonna review?
Did you guys make a motion?
I'd like a
That you're
motion.
gonna review these and come back to next month's meeting and we'll have our final review on them?
I second what John said.
So that's John, your motion by Jones to review and vote next meeting.
Any other comments? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Don, I have a packet for you if you wanna stop by and pick it up.
I'll pick it. Yeah, I'll come in and pick it up. Thanks.
Yeah, very good. North Dock public update.
The ramp is supposed to show up this week. Other than that, it's, just waiting for hot top. It's, it looks good.
Looks good.
Is there,
While we're talking about that one, we might as well talk about the other one falling off of its rack.
Yeah, how many people are aware of that?
I saw
Everybody?
pictures.
what pictures?
Ron Murphy told me about it.
The north dock ramp fell completely off its hanger.
How'd that happen?
South dock,
I forgot the
Public.
bolts.
the big dock, the public?
Bolts were there.
Oh, I thought that was the
Yeah,
south.
waited.
No.
Everybody seen it?
Commercial.
Everyone, no, on the cargo ramp.
Wow.
Waited.
That's when they're picking it back
You
up.
had 2 holes.
That's a different
There's no bolt,
picture
never put the
from
bolts,
the
installed the bolts.
So
Where were the bolts?
the main cause
There, they never put them in.
is the bolts weren't in the hangers. Where the hangers go over the rod,
Yeah,
once they go over the rod, there's supposed to be 2 bolts that go in each one.
yeah,
And it would have kept that from happening, but the main reason it happened is she's a little on the top heavy side, but with all that almost foot of heavy wet snow. And we had an 88-mile-an-hour gust of wind,
yeah.
she rolled.
Whose job was it to put the bolts in?
The-
Boeing?
Bowen?
Yeah.
Good one. Bazinga.
It could be me, could have been Chalmers when they hung the ramp.
That's
Either
great.
one, happened,
Yeah,
so, you know, it's,
easy enough to happen.
Can we blame Adam?
who would have ever thought that most of the ones, like the Seal Harbor ones, we don't pin those, we never do, because we take them on and off every year.
Yeah.
And we've never had an issue, but
Till now.
I mean, well, it's a new thing. While we're talking about, ramps, the Seal Harbor dinghy dock, has a brand new stainless steel hanger with new things and a brand new stainless steel rod. The Maine one, I had the ears cut off and it has two brand new stainless steel hangers. And a stainless steel rod that will be there next week. So that's been redone and beefed up.
Was this the issue we had with Rodney and when he was talking?
Yeah, they mentioned, which I already was aware of and was gonna fix, yes, the dinghy dock one is starting to flex. So it's like that 1/2 inch stainless steel plate, it'll outlive all of us probably.
How do you call, how can I reference that? The ramp,
It's a hanger,
ramp hanger
ramp hanger is what I call it.
and faceplate?
Well,
The face,
the whole thing, the faceplate and the hangers. The dinghy dock is completely new and the other one was still substantial enough that we just cut the hangers off and put new hangers on it.
There's a ramp in the Seal Harbor parking lot that got damaged.
Not ours.
Was that a private one?
It must be. I honestly
You
don't
don't know who it is?
All of that stuff in that parking lot is all private.
Oh,
Well, that was the stuff
There
that
were-
they
don't
moved up
store
there
anything.
right after. It was on the beach, right? And then they
Yeah.
moved it up there after.
Yeah,
Oh.
they pulled all the floats off the beach and put them in the parking lot.
Well, the Seal Harbor Yacht Club sustains it quite a lot of this.
oh, maybe it was there.
Yeah.
Might be.
Well, where our floats go?
Some of those docks were theirs, but some of Seal Harbor's docks are in our parking lot. They store with us in the wintertime.
Where do our floats go? They come over here?
There, yeah, we put them out on moorings. Ours don't come out of the water.
Okay.
They're all just
Yeah. Yeah.
While we're on Seal Harbor. Me and Adam went out and measured today to, re-drill and move the pad. So that the Seal Harbor set of docks is gonna make its first movement this spring. Towards where those guys have been asking, so that's all.
Are you gonna add another float?
No, we're not adding. any
You're gonna
floats.
separate the two?
We're gonna move the whole unit as one this year and
Oh,
see
okay.
how it plays out.
Got it.
If it works like they want it to, then we'll look into having a 20 or 22 foot straight bridge to put between them.
Sure.
I think it was 20 or 22 feet was the old one.
They wanted it moved more inland, more in.
Towards so they could access them.
Yeah.
So you could swing and use the hoist, because the dock sticks out, so the boat, you know what I mean?
It's the mechanics station butted up against that dock, right? Like that maintenance,
Yes, the maintenance dock
yeah,
will swing to the other end now.
right.
It'll be between that and the dinghy dock.
So Sam will have a little less room, a little less distance to row.
No, they still have the same distance because the dinghy dock's not moving.
Oh, okay, they don't tie on the back of that, do they?
No.
Yeah.
Some of them try, but
Thanks for the update.
yeah,
Thank
so
you,
Seal Harbor. The other piece of it, of you that have been over there, the comfort station is still. That is, the highway department is working, I think, with, Holyoke. To, do the work to move that and put it back where it was. And raise it up on stands, but that's public works money, not ours. But that is underway. The only problem that puts on us is we don't have any electricity for our hoist or our light at this time because the building is where our power came from. So we haven't figured that part out yet.
We get,
After it's moved to.
After it's put back in place, MCM will come
Right.
and hook it. And Versant needs to come down because they actually completely cut the wire
Okay,
from the pole to the building.
is that hopefully gonna get done this spring?
As far as I know, I actually was over there the other day doing something and Holyoke was there doing some measuring, so I think they're getting ready to do something. The insurance adjuster has really been the holdup from MMA.
Yeah.
How did they get Holyoke's attention?
I think Ben and Brian probably reached out to multiple places and Holyoke is right there.
Well,
Anyways, so-
he's, the ringing point is
Yes.
paying
Right
for
next door.
some of it, and Nate is doing the work at ringing
Right.
point,
Yeah,
so that's how.
Yeah, and,
Rails had offered to underground the
oh,
power.
yeah, the power,
Ben and
right.
Brian, didn't want that because the way everything is there. So, but they are gonna remove and put a new pole in for us and reconfigure it so it benefits them. It will benefit us too, but. So they're gonna pay for some of that. But, you know, putting it back to where it was and rehabbing it will basically be insurance. Yeah.
So the only thing that changed then is that you suggested that if they did do the underground wires, we could get the closed circuit TV,
I've asked them for the same thing on the wires.
and they're okay with that?
Yeah,
All right,
there'll
great.
be room there. It will be an easier thing for Spectrum or whoever this who is Spectrum to run. Because the way the old wire was, it went right through the woods and it wasn't good. It
Great,
was just a matter of time before something took that out anyways. Okay,
Do we have any damage at Bartlett's?
no,
Cause it's all easterly.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Bartlett's is been an easy keeper this winter. I think it only chipped ice twice this winter. And so I bet we didn't throw salt 10 times. It was, I mean, as far as winter goes, this is snow wise.
It was an easy winter up until just recently. So spring hit.
Rick, can we, not this meeting, but another meeting, discuss the floats that have been left over there for years at Bartlett, so people have used for storage or up on the beach? Not, they just kind of left and have piled junk on and one's broken.
Most of them have, are gone now.
There's still one.
I did learn something the other day that, Swanson's lost their business over there. The Maine,
Oyster?
the oyster, the mussel business. What is their name? I can't remember the name of their business, but their business, they lost their barges and everything, and their barges belong to somebody else now, which I'm in the process of trying to figure out. They still own the lease, it's still under their name, but they went bankrupt and lost everything to the bank, so that, I just learned that yesterday, so I don't have the full layout of how that's all gonna work yet, but.
Does he have barges at
Well,
Bartlett?
he has the big mussel processing house.
Yeah.
And they have a barge with a crane on it and, you know, they have a 20-something foot boat.
Yeah,
So you're saying that stuff belongs to someone else now? And does that permit through?
That's what I
Manchester?
need to figure out.
Yeah,
The aquaculture, there's nothing we can do. That's all done by DMR. That's all on them, but, all I'm concerned with is the boats and the moorings. That's what I need to figure out.
well, somebody bought the aquaculture, the salmon part, didn't they?
That's been going for long.
They switched over to mussels at some point.
Yeah.
But I thought it was in the son's name, I thought it.
Yes,
Yeah.
everything was in Swanson Junior's name, but, some company owns the processor and the whatever. I think the other equipment, the barge and everything, Rich's Boatyard in Bass Harbor, does that sound right?
Yeah.
They purchased the other stuff from the bank. And I think Swanson is trying to find a way to purchase it back.
What happens with moorings, if something's foreclosed on like that? I mean, I
There,
know if you sell a business and it's a business name and you can keep them like a Hinckley or something, but.
I'm not 100% sure. I think the moorings are in Swanson's name. They're not in the business's name, so I'd have to look at them to see if they're labeled as commercial or not. But yes, if the business goes and
You'd have to have a boat for them.
yes. So I'm trying to figure that out, but I knew nothing about it until he came in the office yesterday and offered information, which was decent.
The son or the father?
Son,
Yeah.
the father doesn't, he's not part of it. He is, but he's not.
Yeah. That's too bad.
Thanks for the update. Any other questions about, docking and storm damage? I mean, I'm kind of including that, off the agenda and, discussion here.
We lost a pretty decent amount of soil on the bulkhead. The highway department has been putting riprap back in. They came to a standstill because they have to borrow or rent a small machine that they can get on our little boardwalk, and we gotta get the old ramps out of the way, once that's done. But we bought $4,000 worth of riprap, which hopefully we're gonna get all of that money back from FEMA anyways, because it's all storm related to the January 10th storm.
Yeah.
So
What's happening with those ramps, Sean?
they're going to, go out to bid, or the town of Southwest Harbor is in desperate need of a couple of ramps. I met with the town manager and the head of their harbor committee yesterday, and they are going to, send us an offer. And I was going to put that forth for approval to see if the board of selectmen would let them go. I think it's gonna be a decent price, probably more than we would ever get for a bid.
Yeah.
Like they've done with fire trucks and stuff to help a neighboring town.
Yeah.
They've just done a straight, let them purchase it, and that's where I'm going with those. It saves us from me putting them out to bid and the high bidder being $500, and we like, what do we do? So we got no place to keep them.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking for one the other day and I said, well, call the harbor master, they might have one, but I.
So if the
I don't know if
selectmen
they did.
deny this request, they will be going in the paper for bid probably next month.
They have a harbor master over there yet?
No,
He's still there though, isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he's still there.
He's the new manager of the Sonesville Landing Corporation, though, I know that. Wayne Merchant stepped down from that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's still in Southwest at all. He may be doing a little bit to keep them
I think
moving.
he's still there, but.
Sorry if I looped that back with the ramp discussion you gave earlier.
You're the one writing.
Yeah, that's good information.
Yeah.
The only question I had is, possible future need over in Seal Harbor, if we had a float down there.
Well, we already have 2 ramps over there.
That answered my question then. Okay, we're all set.
Yeah, Seal Harbor has the one big one and
Yeah,
the dinghy dock one.
all right.
I don't know if either one of these is long enough to accommodate that either.
So,
Well, no,
If we had to replace one, we'd probably go with aluminum anyway, wouldn't we?
They are aluminum,
So they are, yeah.
but they're the older type that have the deck boards and have plywood on top of that and tar paper on top of that.
Layers of.
They served us well for a long time and they're
Yeah.
still in really good shape.
Yeah.
That's why Southwest wants them.
okay, very good. Well, I'm gonna move along to a new venue in town. Otter Creek. So,
I thought we get the bar.
Wow.
we haven't had anything proposed to us directly.
No,
And John can lead us off, but we all have heard the rumors,
so
so.
we have never had anything to do with this committee of Otter Creek. There's a boat ramp over there and 8 or 10 years or more ago, Tony Smith built Stevie Smith a concrete, whatever you want to call it. It's really not a pier because it doesn't really go to the water. And there's a concrete, boat ramp there.
Yeah,
Stevie has requested multiple things. He wants a hoist. He wants a dry sump station, which I assume is like a dry hydrant for the fire department. And he wants a 30-foot float and a ramp going down to it off of that pier.
Is he a resident of the town?
No,
Well, hold on a second.
I think he maintains a piece of property in Otter Creek, but my thought
lives in East
was he lives in Eastbrook,
Right,
up to Sugar Hill.
yeah,
But he maintains his residency here, and I think he still votes on everything here. So,
So, my position on this is, we all have opinions about what's going on over there, but we haven't been approached officially. So,
this is kind of an FYI.
yes, that's all it is.
okay.
So I don't think we'll take any motions or record any opinions right now because we haven't been approached. But until I think we will be, I'm hoping if it goes forward.
So I
So
was
I-
approached by Derlin a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, just for your information, this is gonna be on the selectmen's agenda for
Right.
last Monday.
But we have to wait for them to forward it to us.
Okay.
Stevie was sick and didn't show, so it's gonna be on next week's. I will be there and I am gonna try to have a conversation with them there's a lot of reasons why what he's asking for shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
The float would actually sit in the stream. There's no power down there and it would cost an absolute fortune to put power down there. There's no place to turn around it and
No parking.
it's a fighting area with the park too.
Right.
And in my opinion, it is all for one person.
Who's not gonna use it?
Who lives in Eastbrook?
So
He does use it, but I mean,
the one other consideration I wanted you to, I'm on the advisory commission with the Acadia National Park. So I've heard about all this from that end of it.
uh,
And the one thing that I think might be true is that, like, he doesn't own any water property. And so putting something in the water there is definitely not
he
allowed.
wants the town to do it.
But what I'm saying is I think that the park would say no to that. Like, when they built that ramp, there were very specific purposes that it stated that it was used for. And they said a lot of things that wouldn't happen there.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
And so I think that already exists in that land transfer consideration, but I'm not 100%
Sure.
sure. I would certainly talk with, the Acadia National Park about that on some level, but I understand it hasn't gotten to us yet. And if you think it's more important for me to say that to the selectmen or talk to like Kevin or Brandon,
You're welcome
I
to come
should
to the
do that.
meeting on Monday and
okay,
I'll stand up
yeah,
if you
okay,
have the ability.
yeah.
Uh,
I'll try to reach out to Brandon and
But I
find out
think
about that.
from we had a small conversation before their meeting because I was sitting here waiting and Darren was like, oh, Stevie's
Yeah.
not coming. So I was like, okay, I really don't need to be here, but we had a quick 2-minute chat about it before their meeting started and I almost think that they already have all those feelings
Yeah,
and they're not really for it,
right,
but I won't know until Monday.
okay,
So there's a good chance that this might die completely on Monday, but if it doesn't, I am going to tell them that they need to forward it to us, especially if they want us to pay for it. Cause
When
we
you
don't
say
have
us, you mean the harbor
the
committee?
harbor,
and,
cause I don't have a budget for Otter Creek, and I've never spent a penny over there. It's
and,
always been public works.
and I honestly thought, I saw that Stevie was presenting, or the town actually, came to the commission to ask for, a larger ramp. Right,
They want an area to turn.
to do
land.
the turnaround, I understand
Yeah.
that, right, yeah, and at the time when they asked for that, it just didn't seem to make sense at all, what they're asking for and what they're trying to do.
It would cost millions to do what they're asking for
Right.
down there, just to make a turnaround. I don't know if you've all been
And-
down there, but the bank is like this, and it comes right down to the edge of the little road. There would have to be so much dug out and a huge retaining wall built
Yes,
to make this happen, and I can see millions plus.
so if they did this, would that then become your governance to oversee that harbor? as part of the overall town's harbors? And then do you have, like, do we need to start incorporating ourselves into this?
That is, it seemed like by wanting me to come to that meeting, that Derwin's thought was that it would be something that we would either pay for to be done, to put that ramp and hoist in or not, but yes, I think that's where that was leading, that
Yeah.
Otter Creek I would have another budget for Otter Creek and the marina would pay for Otter Creek also.
Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit because right now it's in the ballpark of the selectmen. And,
So is this down by the,
Across
bottom of the hill?
we'll take it, we can take care of it after it gets.
I just wanted to understand.
I understand, that's fine. Well, I think we all have quite a few
But
opinions.
that's the feeling that I got.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good to know.
No, well, I just want to keep it legally.
As
Isn't this
selectmen,
inside
it came
the
in front of you and I.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my thought is an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours either side of high tide that you could access what he's asking for.
With a,
14 to 16 foot skip.
with the outboard.
I don't know if I could get our 20 foot workboat in there.
I don't think you
Right.
could.
I don't think
There,
so.
and there was some kind of talk about, you have to wait for the tide to get out afterwards as
You've
well,
got
right?
about 2 hours, I think, either side of high tide that you can get under that causeway and get up to
Right.
where, up to there. So
Yeah.
other than that,
You gotta measure the headroom, I
the
know
other
that.
day when I went down there, it is just acres of mud flat with like 2 or 3 streams kind of going through it that are
Meandering.
as wide as this table and that deep.
So the float would be,
It would,
Sitting in the
that's the
mud
other
most of
problem,
the
it would
time.
be completely blocking one of the streams. But we'll see, this was just supposed to be an FYI.
Do we have, moorings that are registered in Otter Creek?
We will.
Thank you.
That's part of my talk next week when Stevie's sitting there is,
Is the mooring on the, up in the cove or on the
no, they're
outside?
up by the Ladies Aid Society building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know where.
registered per our ordinance.
Yeah, there's, I think there's 3.
where's the ladies' aid?
Oh, it's over.
It's just
the bank.
outside
Is
of,
that the fish shack?
yeah, the fish shack.
yes.
It's changed.
Oh, it
It
is?
belongs to the Ladies Aid
Ownership.
Society of
It
Otter
is the
Creek.
fish shack.
Yes,
Oh,
it belongs to the Ladies Aid.
But that's on the outside
Used
of
to
the
be-
causeway.
not
It's
according to
It's
you.
somebody's summer house until they make.
So-
until they ban-
officially, it belongs to the Ladies Aid Society of Otter Creek.
Okay,
But that, all of that land belongs to the park, right?
No,
They have an easement. No, they don't have an
they
easement on that
actually,
one.
they actually own a footprint.
Yeah, they own that land. They don't own the land that's a little further south, north.
From what I
That's-
understand,
that's
if it
what
wasn't
that-
for Mike Olson and one other person after the January 10th storm, it wouldn't be there. They went down and put straps on it and kept it from going away on the next storm.
Anything that's a thorn in the park side, I would go for.
A lot of that stuff ended up on the other side of the causeway
Did
anyway.
it?
So I had a couple of things to bring up, Rick.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so, first off, you
We'll put
asked,
this under new business.
yes, it's under new business.
Okay.
Well, or old business.
All right.
You asked me to review, parking over at Harbor, over at, what's the name of that? Huntington.
Harborside.
Yeah, Harborside, is that the name of the
Well,
road?
wait, it's not clear.
Yeah, Huntington,
That road.
nonetheless.
One is at the 90-degree corner.
Yeah, it's okay, either way. The subcommittee met and we talked about it and, we decided that we were only pushing the problem of parking out into our residents. And it just seemed unfair at that point to ask for more parking, like we should manage our parking rather than, turning Northeast Harbor into a parking lot, so to speak. And then the other aspect of it is that, the safety aspect of, people will be walking up and down those streets. We're not sure, I don't know the safety, but it's a concern nonetheless. And then the last aspect of it was that once you put those parking spaces in there, it's gonna be really hard to remove them, if someone doesn't like them. Or over the winter, people still parking them when they're, I don't know. People had disagreements about that as well. You know, that once the parking spaces were there, that people would constantly use them rather than, you know, something else. So we just felt overall that it wasn't beneficial to either the town or the harbor in this case.
Uh,
Donna?
Oh,
I
John-
disagree with you on both of them. Pardon me?
Yeah, we go ahead, Donna.
Okay, so I disagree with you on both of those items. Parking isn't whether people like it or they don't like it, it's is it safe? And that open stretch of wide road is safe and it would solve a problem. And it wouldn't extend the problem, it would just make it fair, because there's no reason other than that people don't like parking there, you know, having parking there, to not have parking there. There's other places that are way less safe that kind of
You're breaking up, we can't hear what you're saying.
Donna, we can't, communications, good. We can't hear you.
Well,
Okay, I'll say that again.
we hear like every third word.
I disagree. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
No.
now? Okay,
Sometimes.
let me,
Sometimes yes and sometimes no.
okay. So how about now?
Just go ahead and say the thing again, and then we'll let you know if we don't hear it.
Okay, so I disagree on both of those points because the road is safe. It's not a matter of whether people like people parking in their neighborhood. And one street is not a neighborhood necessarily. And why is it okay to park in some neighborhoods, but not in others? It would solve a problem. I disagree with you that it wouldn't. It would. It would not extend.
There's no neighborhood parking anywhere else for the harbor.
But it's not that it has to be for the harbor. There should just be parking,
You
period.
said-
Park-
Okay, well,
It would
okay.
solve the problem
not
for the
how-
harbor because then the neighbors could get to the market. So it would solve multiple problems. It doesn't have to be designated for the harbor. I wasn't suggesting that, nor was Rick, as far as I can tell. It would just be simply parking because it's wide open and it's clear view. So there's no reason not to have parking there.
Okay, I understand your point.
It wouldn't create a bigger.
I understand, and all I'd say is that the parking subcommittee decided not to make an action to do that. If you want to address the parking committee and ask for that, that seems perfectly reasonable.
But
Well,
realistically.
what we were told that you were going to bring this to the harbor committee so that we could have a harbor committee vote, not have the parking committee, who may have a conflict of interest in keeping the summer residents happy or not, should bring it to, this is what my understanding was, that we were going to bring it to the harbor committee and the harbor committee was going to vote, not
Okay.
that the parking
Yeah.
committee was going to unilaterally move.
That sounds good. Let's do that.
Let's do that at next month's meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
How many parking spots is this?
I don't know. We didn't
Be like
approach the
5 or 6,
parking
okay.
committee.
The one thought I didn't think of until you mentioned it, Howie, was that, I've been sitting here racking my brain while you guys have been talking. There is not a town parking spot that is not in a parking lot or next to a sidewalk, anywhere in town.
Right, well, this
And
wouldn't
because
be
of safety.
designated, this wouldn't be designated, as I said multiple times, this wouldn't be designated harbor committee parking or harbor market parking or anything to do with the harbor in particular. It would be in general, anyone could park there, just like anyone could park in any town in Mount Desert.
I think that's been the case of what everyone believed all along, but my one thing is, safety wise, there is not a town parking spot anywhere in town that is not on a sidewalk or in a town parking lot. And I think,
Well,
That,
I don't-
Unless.
I don't understand.
unless there's no parking sign up on a street, you can park there, so
Well, there's no parking signs now.
there is, I understand. We're gonna, I would prefer to have this as part of our discussion for next
Sure,
month.
yeah.
Because it's an important issue. Donna's
Sure.
bringing good points. And, anyway, I'm gonna put it on next month's agenda. Go ahead, Chris.
Thank
It's all quickly, what the parking subcommittee was done by, so we're just told to look at it, and what we looked at was also, we Google mapped it, trace maps, and compared it to the traffic ordinance that existed. And then referred back to basically when those came about before the reconstruction remodeling of the harbor. The expansion out with less parking up Harborside Road and out and down that way. And then the Clifton Dock parking, they had a separate agreement to move their cars from the roadway, and they got private property permission to park. Because it did expand out and it overcrowded, and that's how the ordinance changed, there's no parking up Harborside Road. Going out this way and then down way, and that's when all the signs got put in, and that changed the ordinance, was because of the times of the overflow from the arena, and that was prior to our reconstruction with the parking lot.
Well, we can have that
Okay.
conversation next month, like Rick said, when we have a formal meeting about this. But it is a legal road. It is legally wide enough to have parking, and I don't see any reason not to. So let's have that conversation and put it on the agenda next month.
That's what I wanna recommend, so that
Thank
we have
you.
time to think it over and bring up specific topics and points on it, okay?
And just for food for thought on that, if you, looking at it though, if you park a car along that street, it makes it tight for two-way traffic.
Not
Okay.
at all. Not at all. Maybe you don't know which road we're talking about, but we'll make that clear at the meeting. We'll discuss further. Thank you.
Very in tune to which road we're talking
All right,
about.
guys. Yeah. Hey, Jim,
We'd have to run that through the parking committee,
For the
traffic
town,
committee anyway.
I don't think it would be in our,
You'd have to go to town.
Of
meeting.
course. That was what the plan was for us to have the parking subcommittee. Bring information to the harbor committee and then make a recommendation to the parking committee of the town based on the harbor committee's input.
yes, and I'm gonna put some responsibility on Howard's spot here, because you have to consider the overflow problem that we have here,
Sure.
as well as other things.
Sure.
So, anyway, next month, it'll be a topic, with,
So,
with our boat permits, okay?
and then. It's
Go
okay
ahead.
with me. Chris, do you wanna talk about this now or later?
I'd say that first.
Let's do that.
Something else you wanna have on the agenda?
How,
No, this is a long-term project.
we were gonna revisit that in the fall, I believe, in
Yeah,
the minutes.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
The
yeah,
ordinance changed.
yeah, it's an
What-
ordinance for next year.
What is the ordinance referring to?
The,
Harbor
This
ordinance
is-
wait list.
yeah, the mooring wait list,
Okay.
Okay.
you know, the resident, non-resident status thing. But I wanna say one thing about it, is that it would really help if you gave us the statistics as to how many residents versus non-residents for the mooring.
and I think that was part of our, until I get all the way
No,
through all of
right,
this
yeah.
thing. Cause I'm about halfway through the out of harbor stuff now.
Yeah,
Until I get all that, I don't know.
yeah, no problem, yeah.
So next fall would be,
We put in the minutes that we'd revisit our ordinance after the data is collected, review our ordinance changes that we mentioned next.
Yeah.
fall.
Cool.
Okay, so, May's meeting, has some interesting topics. And, we'll spend some time and come in prepared. Jim?
Do we have a sign yet made for the dumpster that says Marina only?
no, we don't.
We should probably get one for this.
Put it in the minutes, Chris. Or,
We already did, we voted on
yeah, I know.
it. Reminder,
I
whole
just,
business sign for.
We've been doing other things, John.
Marina only?
Yes, it's.
I
for
have seen
Marina
people
only, Jim.
drive
Are you
down there
kidding?
and use it.
Yeah, you might have to
It
put
is
it out
gonna
for the
make
trash man instead of
that much
driving it down.
difference, but we will put a sign up.
Yeah,
If 1 out of 50 people,
well, we're gonna have new surveillance cameras and we could do a little surveillance.
The trash police, I
Yeah,
don't know if it's worth it.
that's under old business, I put a big star, so.
Bring Matt in out of retirement.
Motion to adjourn?
That seconded,
No. You got something?
I'll second it.
okay, moved and seconded to adjourn, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
So you didn't